Hi guys, greetings of the day. Myself Vijay Tavadan, and in this video lecture session I am going to show you a solution on projection of solids. And an example problem is like this. A square pyramid 35 mm sides of base and 65 mm axis length rests on HP on one of its edges of the base. Draw the projections of the pyramid when the axis inclined to HP at 45 degree and VP at 30 degree. Now according to the given condition, so one will go to a command called as a rectangle with a continuous line and 0.5 mm thickness. Will construct 35 mm square with respect to 0 degree angle, that because it is given as side resting. Now we will construct a side resting square, and then since it is a pyramid, the diagonals are supposed to be shown as a dark line like this, because these diagonals are going to represent the slant edges. And then make use of a line command with a thickness of 0.13. One can project all the respective corners till it touches the XY line, including the axis position. Now the axis is going to be extended to a length of 65 mm in the front view, because the axis height is given as 65 mm, and then the front view is going to be shown as a triangle, because we know that the pyramid front view is always a triangle. Now make use of a smart dimension and show that the height of the axis is 65 mm and size of the pyramid is 35 mm, and this line is supposed to be shown in the form of a chain line with a thickness of 0.13. Then make use of a text command and start naming the corners like A, B, C and D. This will become O, as well as O1 is the axis position. Accordingly, this will become B dash as well as A dash, and then we have O1 dash inside the bracket, and then we have C dash D dash, C dash inside the bracket, D dash. Then the top position, that is nothing but the apex or vertex, will be named as O dash. Now after which the axis is inclined to HP at 45 degree, so one has to select the top, so front view. Then make use of a move command. Move with respect to the resting edge C dash D dash. It has to be repositioned on the XY line at appropriate distance. And after which go to a command called as rotate. Rotate in such a way that C dash D dash is going to be the reference point, B dash A dash is going to be the point which has to be rotated with respect to the base. Now the base should be rotated at an angle of 90 minus theta, that is 90 minus 45 is the base rotation angle. Now after this rotation, go to angle between command and then check that whether the axis is inclined at 45 degree. Yes, the axis is inclined at 45 degree. Then make use of a line command with a thickness of 0.13. Now one can start drawing the required projectors. Now this is the apex position, so apex has to be joined to O, so one should be very careful here. So let us connect O to O there. Now O is connected, then CD is going to be connected to C and D, and then we have O1 position, so O1 is connected up to the axis line and BA is going to be connected to the respective BA line. Then make use of a command called as text and start naming the respective corners. This as A, B, and this is going to be C, this is going to be D, and this is going to be O1, and this is going to be O. These are the different corners which we are going to be projected. Now according to the rules of visibility, first we should complete the boundary line. Now from the intersection A to B, B to C, C to O, O to D and D to A is going to be the boundary line. Now when the observer is seeing from the top, apex is nearer to the observer and base is away, henceforth the base edges must be invisible, that is CD is going to be the invisible edge. Now CD is not connected properly, so we'll repeat that one. we'll delete that CD and we will repeat that C to D is going to be the invisible edge. Then inside the invisible edge, whatever the slant edges which are passing is visible, that is AO and BO is supposed to be the visible edges. And at last the axis is supposed to be shown as the chain line. So using a chain line that is 0.13 mm as a thickness, connect O to O1. Now to get the visibility of this line, so we shall delete this projector and redraw the projector over there so that the axis is going to be visible clearly to 1. And then what is the next stage? The next stage shows that the axis is inclined to HP at 45 degrees from us, then it is inclined to VP at 30 degree. Now one can see that the axis is already inclined to HP at 45 degree, hence one can measure the apparent length. Now the given angle is the true angle, so we are supposed to draw the true angle first. So one will draw the true angle. Now measure the true angle and set it for 30 degree. And after setting this true angle for 30 degree, then one has to get the apparent position on the true angle. So make use of a point command with a thickness of 2 mm. Locate a point anywhere on the 30 degree line, and then go for a command called as arc by center point command with a thickness of 0.13. Whatever the point we have created should be taken as center, and the radius value should be set for the true length of a axis, that is 65 mm. Then make use of a line command. Now one should construct a locus line, and the apparent line should be transferred on the locus line, that is 45.96 mm. And then the apparent angle has been constructed on the locus line. Then make use of a line command with a thickness of 0.13. One can join this line now, which is supposed to be in the form of a chain line, and then show that this angle is called as apparent angle beta, which is measuring as 45 degree. Now this top view has to be repositioned at an angle of beta, for which one has to select the top view. Then make use of a command called as move with respect to O1, and O1 has to be repositioned on the 45 degree line properly at one end. Then go for a rotate command. Now this is O1 is fixed and O has to be shifted to the another end of the beta line. Now one can say that the rotation is completed as per the given conditions. Then make use of a line command with 0.13 and the continuous line. One can start drawing the projectors to complete the required front view. Now using these projectors, so we will draw the next stage, front view. Then again O1 is going to be projected to this height, and then A and B has to be projected. So B is projected, now the remaining is A. Then make use of a text command, start naming the corners. This as A dash, this is going to be the B dash, and this is going to be C dash, and this is going to be D dash, and this will become O1 dash, and this point will be O dash. Now after which the first preference should be given to the boundary line. So we shall start constructing the boundary with A dash to O dash, and then O dash to C dash to D dash, then to A dash, which is going to be the boundary. Now when the object is seen, that is the pyramid is seen from the front view, the base is visible to the observer rather than the apex, because apex is nearer to the XY line. Henceforth the base edges must be shown as visible, that is A dash to B dash to C dash is visible. Now the longer edges, slant edges which are passing outside the base is visible, and passing inside the base is invisible, that is D dash to B dash is going to be shown as invisible edges. And then at last one has to construct an axis line. The axis has to be constructed from O dash to O1 dash. Now by this one can say that the problem is completed in all aspects as per the given conditions. If you are having any sort of doubts, please feel free to contact me. And please kindly share this video to all your first year engineering students. Also kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching the video once again.